Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Matt. I'm a content producer for OddsJam, and today we're going to be placing some bets. So up to this point, I've only done football, NFL specific bets. Today, I'm going to switch it up and show you some NBA ones. Since there's a ton more to choose from, and I'm not doing it for a primetime game or anything like that, I'm just going to show you the bets that I placed and what I'm looking at. I'm going to give you huge insight into the OddsJam positive EV tool, the expected value tool. So to take advantage of that, definitely sign up for the industry plan, and you can profit just as much as I have. And I mentioned this on the NBA podcast that me and my friend Puni do that came out earlier today. So I've been betting on the NBA for just 7 days since the season started, and just look at the profit. So overall, I've profited about $2,400, and this is since week 2 of the NFL season. You can see it by week here. And also by type. So I've been crushing the positive expected value betting. That's kind of what I mostly do. And NBA, so the season, like I said, is 7 days old, and I've already profited $1,100. So up until today, I had been doing this on a 500 bankroll. So basically what that means is I don't let any of the sportsbooks accounts that I have that are legal in Virginia. It's these ones right here. Whenever I have over 500, I'll just cash that out. So I never have more than 500. So I up that to 750 starting today. So we'll see how the profit's been growing. But I kind of want to just tell you about my bankroll so you can kind of understand. Like, I've literally over doubled it in 7 days betting on basketball, which is amazing. And for my NBA bets, I've only done positive expected value betting. So, and I guess I have done some free bets that have hit as well. But as you can see, my free bet profit isn't that great. So 1,100 of the 1,700 positive expected value bets has been on the NBA. I also mentioned this on the podcast, but the first week of betting is the best time to take advantage of the sports books, because the sharp ones, like the OddsJam Sharpest Line, the perfect line that we like to call it, has better, just because of it's a little bit sharper, has a better understanding of what's going on, and the sports books aren't quite as sharp, so they don't catch up. So what that means is that in the first week of basketball, I've profited $1,100. So before I show you, these are all my pending bets now. As you saw there, I have about 1,100 in pending. 200 of that is for Thursday Night Football, the bets that I placed in a previous video. But so that means $911.15. Wow, I butchered that. $911 is been NBA. Sorry, math is hard, I guess. But looking at some of the bets that I've won, so I highlighted a couple on the podcast, but I wanted to show a little bit more detail. So like I said, I filtered this on one, so I don't want you to think that every bet that you're going to do is going to hit. But the first thing that you look at is the difference between the odds that I bet it at and the closing value, the closing line. This is what it ends at. This is green, as you know, equals good, better odds in the closing line. You will have situations where looks like of these bets, only 2 of them are red. Now you get a little bit more. But what this means is essentially what I got it at plus 130, and what the line ended at plus 109. So most of the times it works out, which is why you need to hop on a positive expected value bet as soon as you can. It doesn't always work out in your favor. So like this Russell Westbrook one, I got at plus 100. It ended at plus 123. That's okay because it still hit. And more times than not, it'll end up green. So that's okay. But the thing I wanted to highlight is just how much of these are plus money. So anything over plus 100. So plus 130, plus 155, plus 140, plus 185, plus 170, plus 155. The reason why I wanted to highlight that is because and this isn't rocket science, but doing more bets that are plus money means you don't have to have as high of a hit rate. And the stake, I get this directly from the Kelly Criterion calculator that is on OddsJam, so I don't calculate this myself. OddsJam just tells me what to do. So like this plus 185 bet, I put $50 on. So what I got back was $142. So you'll see the majority of the odds that I get are at plus money. So I have a higher than 50% success rate just because of as far as the bets actually hitting or not. And then when you couple that with majority of them being plus money, that's when you really get some profit. I mean, like a plus 171 hitting, I think the highest I got was plus 170. Right? I might have gotten Yeah, this plus 205, this maxi one, that was amazing. I think that's the highest as far as odds, that the expected value that I've hit. But they're all, like I said, mostly between plus 100 and plus 170. And some of the ones that I wanted to highlight, so like this Russell Westbrook one, obviously it ended as worse odds in the closing line, but I would have guessed that this over would hit. If you had just asked me as a sports fan, hey, do you think Russell Westbrook is going to have over 8.5 assists? I almost always am going to say yes, because the guy just lives on triple doubles. He shits them out for breakfast. So I just assumed he would, but I'm glad I have OddsJam. Even though this ended at worse odds, the bet still hit, so I still was able to get the $60 profit based on the $60 stake. And then there are other ones that I just never would have thought of. So like this Tim Hardaway under 1.5 assists, that would have been a no touch for me. I would have said, it's hard to players like him that aren't known like a Russell Westbrook or like a Trae Young that are known as high assist guys. I would just say I'm not going to touch that. Under 2 assists seems difficult to do, and I'm pretty sure he ended with 0. So that's another one that hit. So, and then the Giannis rebounds. This was a darling for me last year. His over-under rebounds was always 14.5, 13.5. And at the beginning of the year, he almost always went under. The first game, the sharp play was on the over, which I took, and that hit. But since then, it's been going under. So that one obviously wasn't plus money. But, he's another example of a player assist where it was 1.5, but the play was on the over. And this one hit. So that's all I really wanted to highlight. Like I said, I've only filtered based on bets that have won. So don't think that you're going to win, 100% of your bets. If you just want to look at, there are some that have lost. Again, these are all plus money still. Majority of them are still green, so they're still positive value bets, but it just didn't hit. But more times than not, again, just to reiterate, you see these are mostly all plus money. Plus 120, plus 128, plus 135, plus 110. Here's a -1 that didn't end up hitting. That's okay. Plus 140. This one was football. But and this is why, back when I was doing my podcast a year ago, the underdog of the day was always the most profitable, because we would have maybe a 60% hit rate as far as getting them right. That's what I mean by hit rate. But 60% of plus money, you're going to profit more than if you win 75% of your bets at minus money. That's just kind of how the odds work. So I think it's easy to look at a bet, especially a player prop, and see one that's minus 180, being like, well, that's probably going to hit. I'll just accept the bad odds. It's not really good. It's not really the sharpest way to do it. I think more importantly, take the plus money ones. So all that ranting to show you the betting tool. So if you want to look at, let's look at some of the pending ones that I have. So far, so good. They're all positive expected value. None of them have dropped low yet. And again, some of them like this assist, Miles Bridges, never would have thought. Rebound, a lot of them you see the sharpest plays are on rebounds and assists, because the sports books aren't as sharp at pricing those. This one, Blake Griffin under 0.5 made threes. You would think that, how many times has Blake Griffin not made a 3 in a game? Well, let's look at Blake Griffin stats. He doesn't have to hit it every game. He doesn't even have to hit it 50% of the time, based on what the odds are at. So looks like he hasn't hit a 3 this entire season. So the over 1.5 is priced at probably minus 220, and it hasn't hit one time. So that's why, it's probably not you would think it's not the smartest bet, but it's hit every game so far, and you're getting that I got it at plus 158. Just to kind of Blake Griffin rebounds. So I got it at under 4.5. This might not seem like a smart play because he just had 9, but the pregame 2 games prior to that, I guess he didn't play against the Hornets. Against the Sixers, he only had 3, and the Bucks he had 5. So again, for plus 100, you'll kind of take those. You take those chances hitting 50% of the time. So looking at what's out there now, most of these I've already bet on. Looks like there are some that I haven't, but the positive expected value page, obviously the higher the percentage, the higher expected value. So this one, this is a great bet. You're getting it at plus 115, and the OddsJam Perfect Line has it all the way down at minus 135. So that's a huge difference. And even if you want to take, let me do it on a new tab so I don't lose that page. But even if you want to take out the VIG of the Perfect Line, what it's priced at, So it's at minus 135 plus 102. Let's take out Novig. Minus 135 plus 102. So they still have it at minus odds, and we're getting that at plus 115. So that's a great bet. This Evan Mobley one, that's one of my favorites. I mean, according to my bankroll that I up to 750, I should put $100 on it. And that's great. So these two, I'll try and lock after this. Let's see if they're still there. You see this change so quickly. Looks like the play is on DeAndre Hunter. So another one, the over assists. It's plus money, plus 145. That's also an ARB opportunity, not a big one, obviously, but it is an ARB opportunity. Looks like the true line, the perfect line that OddsJam has it priced at, is plus 102. We're getting it on DraftKings at plus 145. And you'll notice that a lot of these plays are plus money, and that's the reason for that is kind of what I just described. That's where you're going to make. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Oh, the higher the plus money odds, the more money you're going to make. Yeah, of course. But it's important to see that in terms of positive expected value, because not only is it a plus money bet, but it also has positive expected value. So it's a little bit sharper than just betting on plus money for no reason. It's important to have the logic behind it. So anything with a check mark is stuff that I've already bet. As you can see, I've bet a lot. That is what goes into the 915 that I've bet. And these two I'll try and lock. So it looks like DeAndre Hunter, I should put 67 on DraftKings. I'm going to try and do that on my phone. That's going to take too long. So I'm going to try to I'll try to lock these, and I'll post screenshots of everything. Looks like they're both on DraftKings, so I could get them in pretty quickly. But overall, I'll make sure to be doing these weekly videos to track how the positive expected value bets have been going. I love showing you my page because you can kind of see a real life example of the money that I've made. And I mentioned this on the podcast, but I don't expect to profit double my bankroll in a week's worth of time every single week. Excuse me, some weeks are going to be better than others. But as you can see, I've been doing this since week 2 of the NFL season, and I've only had one negative week. It was minus 218, and I think my lowest week outside of that was, minus 267. So even if you take out my worst week that was positive, and my lowest week ever, that still would have profited if it was just those 2 weeks. In this week, it's only includes Monday night and Tuesday night. We're recording this on a Wednesday. I'm already up to $300, and that's 2 days of NBA betting and one night of Monday Night Football that actually my bets didn't even do well that night. I was 0 for 2 with my $100 bets. So if I just took out those Monday Night Football ones, I'd be at 500 in 2 days. So hell, maybe I will profit over $1,100 this week, but we will see. That's all I got for you. So main thing what I wanted to do is highlight some of these positive expected value bets, A, that I've made, and B, how to just kind of navigate this page. This one up here, this top one, 50% expected value is great. So I would make sure to lock that in as soon as you can. The Evan Mobley over 7.5 rebounds. I think that's a really good bet. But that's all I got for you. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at Modi_sports. I'd love to hear any feedback that you may have. You can also email me at matthew@oddsjam.com. I also am pretty responsive to my email. So hit me up if you have any questions, any concerns, anything like that. And other than that, that's all I got for you. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.